Welcome to the neighborhood Ford store Steelers Extra Point.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome inside our KDKA studios. Bob Pompeani, Chris Hoke with you on the Extra Point. A little later than usual, rain delay, weather delay, lightning delay, and the Steelers, man, they were as dreary as the clouds above, losing at home to a team that had not won in 9 straight games dating back to last year with virtually no offense, and yet they bullied the Pittsburgh Steelers today 24-10. Chris, the word that comes to mind for me is embarrassing. What about you?
I think it's devastating, right? This loss right here, this was supposed to be a stretch where they're playing the Cardinals and they were going on to play teams that had these records, 2-10, the Patriots, 2-10, right? And they come in and they lay an egg on their home turf against a team that brought in a bunch of rookies starting on the defense, Bob.
Right.
Offense that gave up, only scored 14 points, 1 and 2 the last 3. It was a devastating loss.
Again, bullied. They were bullied at home.
Absolutely.
James Conner, hashtag Conner Strong. He was today. Went over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. We're going to break it all down. Abbreviated show today, folks. Mike Tomlin press conference is coming up. We're going to have post-game reaction. We'll wait to see what Mike Tomlin has to say after this one. The Steelers fall to 7-5, and now, short week, they got New England, which lost today 6-0 next.
Welcome back to the neighborhood Ford store Steelers Extra Point.
Bob Pompeani, Chris Hoke back with you, and we await Mike Tomlin's press conference following, I would easily say, the worst loss of Mike Tomlin's career here. I mean, you got to go all the way back. I think that Texans game when they committed all those turnovers way back when in the Tommy Maddox era, whatever that was. 24-10 your final score here as we await Mike Tomlin. And the key to this game was third down conversions. Quite frankly, the whole thing turned when the Steelers got stuffed at the goal line on a 4th and 1, could not get in, 4th and goal. And then Arizona goes right down the field, 99 yards. And they had 4 third down conversions, all of which were over 10 yards, multiple distance, and they overcame it all. Let's take a look at the scoring summary, Chris, and you can give us your take here. But that, to me, was the name of the game. They went 10 for their last 12 on third down conversions. That is, and I know they're injuries, but man, you can't allow this team to come in here and do this.
And third down always tells the story of each game, Bob. If you have your high percentage on third down, you're going to have time of possession. You're going to control the game. That's what Steelers done the last couple of games. But today, it was completely dominated by the Cardinals.
Yeah, and again, I think they bullied the Steelers all over the field. They really did. They made plays when they had to. And I think as a player, Chris, you know that when you have a team on the ropes a little bit, they sensed that they had the Steelers right where they wanted them anyway. We got to go to Mike Tomlin. We'll talk more about that. Mike Tomlin at the podium. Let's hear what he had to say.
We didn't do much right in that game, to be quite honest with you. And so we got to own that, obviously, starting first and foremost with me. Just losing football really was, We're highly penalized, some pre-snap penalties, some operational penalties, bad snaps, just JV football in a lot of ways. I thought it was a significant point in the game when we got stopped in the red zone, and then they drove the ball there before the half. But that doesn't tell the story to the game, man. We just weren't good enough throughout the game. We didn't play a good game today. We had some injuries. Landon Roberts got a groin. Obviously wasn't able to return. Kenny Pickett wasn't able to return with an ankle. Isaac with a shoulder. Mika, I think, broke his left hand, but they were able to cast it at the extended half, and he was able to finish the game. But again, it's as I mentioned, man, we need to look no further than the mirror. We didn't do it today, and we got a short week, and so no time to, feel sorry for ourselves and things of that nature, man. We got fast business approaching.
What did you see different? You thought your offense made some strides last week. What did you see different today?
Possession down ball was not where we needed it to be. I thought that was the story. Really kind of the first half, man, I thought we were running it fluidly, but we weren't able to run it enough because we weren't winning enough possession downs. And so I think it kind of snowballed from there.
What can you attribute this, Mike? 2-10 opponent. Any chance anybody took them lightly?
No, we don't. We look at ourselves and the quality of our play or the lack thereof, and it wasn't there today.
Was it part of the pregame defensive strategy for you guys to have a spy on Kyler Murray?
At different points, not down in and down out. No.
What did you see On a 99-yard drive with them converting those third downs and allowed them to keep that rhythm going.
They worked the interior portions of the field. We didn't do a good enough job matching up on their tight end. I thought their tight end was significant, but particularly in that sequence.
Mike, if Kenny, I know you got a short week. If Kenny can't play, will you stick with Mitch or will you leave it up for debate?
Yeah, we'll roll with Mitch if he can't play, but I don't know where any of that is as I sit here today.
Specifically, where the tackles were concerned, not lining up information, was that something that was off with your interpretation of the rules, or?
It was just negligence on us.
Like that negligence, the penalties today, was that something that was lacking in practice this week? Why do you think it was such a sloppy game?
No excuses there. I didn't see that in practice, but I did see that in stadium, and we own it for sure.
Mike, did you think you were able to use the delays accordingly to be able to come out and play better after having 30, 40-minute delays?
You know, both squads were delayed. You know, that's the unforeseen. I'm not, attributing any quality or lack thereof in terms of performance to the delays.
Mike, how do you change the direction of this team on a short week going into the game on Thursday?
We just get ready to win the next game, man. We were coming off of a loss on our last Thursday night game, and that's what you could control. You control the next one. This one's in the books. We better work quickly and win the next game. That's our focus.
Defense has been able to thrive, Mike, with a bend but don't break mentality, force turnovers of opposing offenses. What happened today that you weren't able to capitalize on any opportunities like that?
I thought we struggled from a communication standpoint when Landon Roberts went down. We lost some significant communication and some glue there, and I thought it was reflective in our play.
Speaking of communication, how do you evaluate the offensive communication and play calling communication on the sideline between your assistants?
It was poor today because of the outcome of the game.
It seemed like you were really ball in the first half. Was it just the score that caused you to get away from it, or did you feel like you didn't execute as well in the second half in the running game?
It kind of got away from us after we turned the ball over, and it became a multi-score game. We weren't able to do some of the things that we had set out to do, obviously, at the initial stages.
Mike, when Kenny went out on right before fourth down, did you consider kicking a field goal there?
No, we were going to go for that. We got to score points in order to win football games, and so not going to question our aggression there. We got to be able to get a yard.
How about the decision to line up in the shot?
All right, that's Mike Tomlin speaking after the game, and I have no problem with that decision, by the way. It was 3-3 at the time. You got to get a yard, absolutely, and if you don't, all right, you got your defense. You trust them to shut down an Arizona team that had struggled offensively pretty much all year, and yet Trey McBride became a star in this game.
Yeah, you talk about that 4th and 1. I have no problem with it. I have a problem with the play call and actually the push from the offensive line. When on that drive, the Steelers went 8 carries for 52 yards to get them down to the 1-yard line. Right, that's a 6.5-yard average. You're thinking they're going to be able to pound this in. They line up in shotgun with Najee Harris in the sidecar. And then you look at James Daniels and Broderick Jones. They can't even get a push. They get knocked back on that. Mason Cole gets beat. It's just a disaster right there. They've got to come off, pin their ears back, line up under the quarterback, and do something more physical than a shotgun coming off lollygagging. And you can't do that when it's 4th and 1 or 4th and goal at the 1.
Yeah, I thought Mason Cole had a terrible day too. The snaps have been bad pretty much all year, and he got buried on that one play that led to the fumble recovery by Arizona. That was a critical play. All right, let's take a look at the injuries. As Mike Tomlin said, a lot of them here today. Landon Roberts has a groin injury. Don't know what that means on a short day. I would doubt these guys are going to be able to come back in just 3 days given the nature of them. You got Kenny Pickett with the ankle. That didn't look good. He was in a lot of pain. Samalu, shoulder, and then Minka, we just learned, has a broken hand, although he was able to return. We saw T.J. Watt. What do you think Watt's situation is?
It looked like an ankle to me, right? But he was able to come back in the game. So in my mind, I think he'll be ready for Thursday to play. But that's the problem right now, Bob. This is a quick turnaround. You don't have a week for your body to heal. You've got to get back on the train, and you've got to be ready to play Thursday night. And all those guys we pointed out there are all big-time contributors for the Steelers team.
Yeah, and it's a game against New England. You may say their offense stinks. Well, so far the Steelers have done the same. They lost today 6-0. We'll take a break and come back and hear from Cam Heyward. That's next as we continue our coverage following a Steelers loss to Arizona at home. Who knew this was coming? 24-10 your final score.
Welcome back to the neighborhood Ford store Steelers Extra Point.
All right, you see the final score, 24-10. Cardinals win this game, and they do it relatively easily with not much pushback by the Steelers, especially on offense. Those 7 points at the end, they got on the Deontay Johnson touchdown, pretty much prevent defense, and that was it. And then James Conner put everything under his wing, and he just ran this ball down their throats at the end. Now it's time to check out the JP Roofing final stats of this game. Chris, to me, I'm always going to look to third down conversions first. And, 10 of 17, but 10 of their last 12. They dominated critically, especially as the second half started and after that fumble.
And there's no question about that, Bob. You look at the Cardinals were good on third down throughout the game, but 10 of 17, and look at the time of possession there. The Steelers still won the time of possession, but to me, look at the rushing yards. The Cardinals got after the Steelers in the second half of this game. The Steelers, the rushing yards, Bob, at halftime were 14 for 47. They had 100 yards rushing, the Cardinals, in the second half. That's called bully ball, like you said. That cannot happen against a Pittsburgh Steelers defense.
Yeah, and they're missing a lot of inside linebackers, and Landon Roberts leaves after that. Michael Walker just exposed, I thought, today. He was not very good, but, he's the fourth man available right now. Mark Robinson got in there, and if these guys are all out moving forward, Chris, it's going to be tough on, I don't care who they play, and especially New England. It's Bill Belichick. They have, Bailey Zappe's now a quarterback, but you got to have someone to cover tight ends in the middle of the field, and they haven't done that.
And you absolutely do, but Michael, I don't think Walker played very bad in coverage. He was right there just making a play. Kyler Murray put the ball where only Trey McBride could catch the ball. They were high. They were outside, and he was going up and getting the ball. I mean, you think about that touchdown catch that was reversed and it said no touchdown. He came back right to him. Trey McBride, I think, has a bright future in the NFL because of his ability to go up and get the high ball, and he's a mismatch for tons of linebackers, which gives him a great advantage.
All right, Cam Heyward spoke after the game. Let's go inside the locker room and hear from number 97.
Be in all three facets, penalties, didn't win the turnover game, didn't convert in the red zone, didn't keep them out of the red zone. You name it, we lost at it.
And was this one of the most frustrating losses you guys had in a long time?
Taking it week by week, but as right now it is.
All right, let's take a look at the leading tacklers in this game. Walker did have 10. Like I said, though, in the pass coverage situation, they were picking on that, and they schemed, obviously, to feature Trey McBride, even though Zach Ertz kind of walked out and said, I'm done with this team. Alex Highsmith, you see there. Robinson got a lot late. But the bottom line is the Steelers just could not come up with big plays at critical downs. There was, 4 of those third down and 2, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. All of them in that 99-yard drive were converted for first downs. And when you do that, you're not going to win football games.
Yeah, and you look there, he had 10 tackles, Michael Walker, but the reality is where he struggled was in coverage. And like I said, he was tight on his coverage most of the time. It was just that the ball was thrown in great places. Also, you look at where Joey Porter Jr. Gave up some big catches, gave up a big PI when they had to stop on third down. So this was a total effort defensively that gave up 24 yards. It's not just one guy here, Michael Walker, or one guy there. It's this total defense that struggled in this game.
And on offense, just way too many false starts, illegal formations, had to call timeout because you had bad personnel in there. Those are things that cannot happen in any game, let alone one against this team at 2-10. Broderick Jones talking on the offensive line. Let's go inside the locker room.
All it was the slow start. We started sluggish, so it just continued throughout the game, and we can't have that.
How frustrating were some of the self-inflicted wounds for you guys?
It's just little things, nothing that practice won't fix, we just got to put it behind us. We got a big game coming up next Thursday. So, it's a quick turnaround. So, we're going to put this game behind us and just continue to grow.
Do you feel like you can make those changes in such a quick turnaround?
One more time?
Do you feel like you can make those changes in such a quick turnaround?
Yeah, it's nothing to do. You just got to, everybody got to lock in, be on the same page, just a little things.
A couple of guys before talking to you said it's a game that you guys should have won. Do you feel like you squandered anything out there today?
Every game you're going in, you think you're trying to play to the best of your ability to win, but just the circumstances of how it played out, everything that played into, the factors that played into the game, wasn't great, but with our slow start, it put us behind them.
Broderick Jones talked slow start, but really their first possession of the game, they moved, really systematically right down the field. It was Pickett to Pickens for 14. You had 18 yards, then 38 yards. All of a sudden, then there was a tip pass. Kenny Pickett still spun away and into coverage, I thought. They settled for a field goal, and I think, Chris, that was a problem. You needed to convert that into a touchdown first drive. They haven't had hardly any of them this year. If you do that, it may be a different game.
There's no question about it. And then they come down, they go on that 12-play, 79-yard drive, get down to the 4th and 1 we talked about, could not punch it in. Then your defense lets the Arizona Cardinals, this team that's really struggled, last week only put up 14 points against the Rams, march 99 yards and put a touchdown on you. Instead of you being up 10-3, they were now up 10-3. That right there is a 14-point swing, and the Steelers could never recover, Bob.
Yeah, 3rd and goal was Kenny Pickett, who got injured, and it's an ankle injury. He was in a boot during the game. He did not return, and now you wonder what that is. It could be a high ankle, could be who knows what it is, but it's on this play where he had tackled from behind, and those are tough on quarterbacks when you don't see that coming, and they landed on his ankle. Now, I think at the beginning of the week, the other ankle had something happen to it, so you can tell he was in a lot of pain.
And that's tough when you're a quarterback. When you go out and you run and get outside the pocket, you become a running back. And so you're going to get hit hard. And you think about it, when I watched this play again, Bob, you had Calvin Austin that came across in motion, was open in the flat. Kenny didn't see him. That should have been the first option. Yeah. Kenny hit him, touchdown. It reminds me of the first time he hurt his ankle when there was another receiver. I can't remember exactly who it was. The receiver was open. He rolled out right into the defender and got sacked and got hurt. And if he would have just taken his reads and thrown the ball and checked it down and thrown it to the first option, he wouldn't have gotten hurt here as well. It's unfortunate this happened, but it could have been avoided.
Yeah, that was a missed opportunity. We thought so also watching, and he was open, never saw him. And then that set up the 4th down and goal, which they got stuffed. Pat Freiermuth was targeted today, not nearly as much as last week, but he did convert some 3rd downs. Let's go inside the locker room. Hear from number 88.
Today. Just our execution, shot ourselves in the foot too many times. Unacceptable penalties, 2 illegal formations, 3 maybe. Didn't convert on possession downs a lot, so yeah.
What was the challenge of the delays?
Set us back 5 yards, and when you know, 2nd and 15 or 1st and 15, even sometimes 3rd and 15, it kills the drive.
I meant the lightning delays.
Oh yeah, I mean, it sucks, but can't use it as an excuse.
You guys came out throwing the ball down the field, the big chunk plays. What changed after that? Was there?
Yeah, I don't know.
This is a game a lot of guys said that you guys need to win. You kind of let them go there. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, definitely let it go. We got to come back and you know, beat New England on Thursday night for sure.
Did you guys take this team seriously enough? I mean, I know they're professional, but
they're an NFL team. We take every team seriously. We didn't overlook them. You know, they got NFL caliber players just like us. They're a hell of a team, and you know, the record might not show it, but they got some talented dudes, and especially having Kyler back. But we didn't overlook them at all.
Undisciplined penalties, many of them today, and they were costly. Came at times of the game where you had down and distance on your side, and all of a sudden it flipped the other way.
There's no question. 9 penalties today for 77 yards. And you look, Miles Killebrew, who uncharacteristically had 3 personal fouls today. You know, he roughed the kicker, the punter. He had that. He hit the
fair catch,
yeah. and then he had the other face mask. So that's 3 penalties. Then you had a PI in the end zone. You had too many players on the field defensively. How many illegal formations the Steelers have? Too many uncharacteristic penalties in this game that hurt them play in and play out.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin said it starts with him, and that's it. It's preparation on these kinds of things, and you didn't expect a total implosion, and that's pretty much what happened today. As the Steelers, after a 3-0 lead, could only get 7 points, and they came really in garbage time at the end of the game. We'll take a break, come back with more right here on KDKA. Steelers lose 24-10. They're now 7-5, and that puts them in a little bit of a conundrum. They got to win on Thursday, no doubt. We'll talk more next.
Welcome back to the Neighborhood Ford Store Steelers Extra Point.
All right, welcome back. It is a condensed version of this program. We apologize for that, but that's how it is when we had 2 weather delays. Here are the updated standings. Ravens have a bye week. Good time for them. They're 9-3, so the Steelers fall behind the Browns. The Browns right now are 10-10 with the Rams. Joe Flacco, out of retirement, he has 156 passing yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions in that game. Steelers now fall to 7-5. Bengals play later tonight. T.J. Watt got injured in this game. He did get a sack, which puts him at 14.5, tops in the NFL, but let's hear what he had to say after the game.
Playing and having a good opportunity.
We got our ass kicked today. I don't know if it got away from us. We got pummeled today.
How deflating, TJ, that 99-yard drive after you guys got stopped? How deflating was that?
It's tough. Can't happen. Need to get off the field quicker. going to have a lot of film here to quickly digest and move on. Thursday night game, so we don't really have time to sit here and feel sorry for ourselves. We just need to make corrections and move forward.
Do you think because of Minka just coming back, was there any even small amount of rust from a communication standpoint and or a physical standpoint with Minka?
No, that had nothing to do with Minka.
On the play that you were hurt, TJ, or that you appeared to be hurt, you were pretty flagrantly held there. Did that contribute at all to?
I don't know, the NFL has something going against me, so I don't want to talk any more negatively towards them.
I didn't understand that at the end there. But anyway, Watt with 14.5 sacks. I thought he and Highsmith early were very active in this game.
They were, and they came down crashing in the run game, getting pressure on the quarterback. I thought Alex Highsmith really imposed it as will there in the first half of the game, and they needed to get more of an effort, right? The penalties killed them, third downs killed them, and when it needed it most, they couldn't get pressure on the quarterback.
All right, again, we're abbreviated, so we're going to take a break, come back. We're going to look at the playoff picture and the road ahead for the Steelers, which we thought was easy, but we'll do that when we come back. You're watching the Neighborhood Ford Store Extra Point right here on KDKA TV.
Welcome back to the Neighborhood Ford Store Steelers Extra Point.
All right, let's take a look around the NFL. Currently, you see the Chargers, they beat the Patriots today 6-0. New England could do nothing offensively. They come here Thursday. Texans over the Broncos. That's big for Houston. They get to 7-5. How about the Colts in overtime? Trail 28-25. They win it with a touchdown pass to get also to 7-5. And in 2 weeks, the Steelers have to go to Indianapolis. Dolphins all over the Commanders at 45-15. Now, Minka Fitzpatrick, we heard from Mike Tomlin, suffered a broken hand in this game. Let's hear from him after the game.
The middle of the second quarter.
How much did that affect what you were able to do going forward from there?
Not too much. They casted me up during one of the delays, and I couldn't grab with it, but I was able to still play and miss a play. So.
How did it happen, Minka?
I think I did it making a tackle, and then a few plays later I tried to punch with it, and that's when I really noticed it.
Just adrenaline carrying you through the rest of that game.
Yeah.
Can you play again Thursday?
Oh yeah. I'll be fine. We'll probably just wrap it up, club it up like we did today, and keep it moving.
Minka, how alarming was what happened out there?
It was all on us. It wasn't nothing that obviously they're a football team that gets paid and everything else like that. But we played probably our worst football that we played all season, all around the board. So when it's stuff that we're doing. And it's not people just out playing us. I want to say it's not alarming, but it's not something that can't be fixed.
All right, time is short, so let's get right to the updated playoff situation. You see it right here. Miami, Baltimore, Kansas City, Jacksonville, all would be division winners. Right now, the Steelers fall down into that 7-5 situation where you got Indianapolis. You also have Houston, which won today, and Houston, remember, has the tiebreaker over the Steelers. So there is a lot coming up, and what lies ahead? Well, let's take a look at the Ford road ahead, and you'll see, because I thought this was an easier road here for the Steelers, but it may not be at all the way they're playing. You got New England here. You'd think they'd win that game, but I thought that today. Then you have at Colts, Bengals, and at Seahawks before the finale in Baltimore.
And we really thought over the next month the Steelers would make a run, but unfortunately they came out today and did not play very well. You can never take a game for granted from here on out, Bob.
All right, so New England comes here on Thursday night. They are 2-10 as well. But be mindful of the fact that so is Arizona coming in at 2-10. We have plenty more. Sorry this was abbreviated, but that's just the way life is in television. We have the CBS Evening News coming up, followed by KDKA News at 6:30 tonight, 10:35 on KDKA+. You can air your opinions. Call the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. And then at 11:35, it's the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. We have a lot to get into, including the college football playoff format field, all of that tonight on KDKA. For Chris Hoke, I'm Bob Pompeani. Thanks for joining us. And stick around. The CBS Evening News is next.